Hi, my name is Pearl and welcome to my Java tutorial series for beginners lesson 2. In today's video, we'll be learning about variables, how to declare them, and how we can use them in our Java code. So without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so I'm currently on my computer and I've opened up my IDE, IntelliJ, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. And I'll just name this Java. Okay, so first of all, what is a variable in Java programming? Well, a variable is basically just a way that you can store all sorts of data in Java. Now, there's many types of data that you can store. This includes numbers, characters, words, even a combination of data types like dates. But for now, we'll just be focusing on the fact that we can store data in Java programming and how we can do that. So first of all, let's learn how to initialize or declare a variable in Java programming, or basically tell the computer that we do have this variable. So this is the structure of how you would declare a variable. First, you want to specify the data type of your variable on a new line, and then you want to follow that by a space and then the name of your variable, then another space, an equal sign, and then the value of your variable. Now we'll be learning more about this data type thing in the next video. However, one thing you need to know is that the value always needs to match the data type that you declare this variable as. So let's just go ahead and declare our first variable. I'm going to declare a number or a variable that is a number, and in order to do that, my data type will be an int or an integer. Let's say that the name of this variable is a score I want to keep. Now, usually, a good way to write your variables' names is if you have multiple words in your variable. For each of your words, you want to have an underscore and then the next word, or you want to use a type of writing called camel case, in which you start off your first word's first letter as lowercase, and then for the following letters, the first letter will be uppercase, so like this. So those are just two ways of writing the names of your variables. Now let's set the value of our variable. Let's say the current game score is 5, or we start out with 5. So here is your first variable. Now, let's say that across the game that we've played, we gained 5 more points. So we want to increase the game score by 5. There's two ways we can calculate this manually and know that game score will become 10. And the other way is to add game score to 5. Now we can use both ways, but first of all, the structure of changing the value of a variable is very similar to declaring a variable. It's basically the same thing, except you do not need to include the data type. So let's go ahead and change the value of game score. So I'll just write my name of the variable, an equal sign, and then the new value, let's say game score plus 5. Now one thing, let's say game score in the future is equal to 100. Will this current line of Java code reference game score right here as 5 or 10? Well, Java will always recognize a variable by its current value, so since game score is 100 in the future and the current value of game score is 5, then Java will always reference the current value, which is 5. So you don't need to worry about, let's say you set game score to another value in the future, will Java look at this variable differently? Okay, so as I mentioned before, we can also set game score to 10 if we wanted to. And the data type of the value also always needs to stay the same. Like, for example, if I were to set the game score to some words, then Java would give me an error. Okay, so Now that we know the basics of how to declare and make a variable, let's go ahead and see if we can just print out the value of this game score variable that we have. So what I mean by printing out is just writing out the value of game score in our console. So to do that, I'm just going to say system.out.println game score. And now if we run our code in our console or our output tab, then we should see 10. And here we have 10. And that's about it for this video.